Hey friends, welcome back to another video. My name's Lefebvre, and today's not a tutorial, it's a bit more of an announcement. So this July is World Watercolor Month. Actually, every July is World Watercolor Month, but I always seem to be reminded during July and I never have anything prepared for it. Until now. So currently, as I'm filming this, it is the end of May, and I have planned a whole month, 31 days of watercolor practice for you guys to follow along with. Now, I know it can seem a little bit overwhelming to think of painting consecutively for 31 days, but I want to break it down and make it easy for you so you're practicing only 10 minutes or less every day. And I do believe everyone has at least 10 minutes to pick up a brush. Each day, I'm going to be taking you through a new technique, more beginner techniques, especially towards the beginning of the month, and then we're going to be applying them slowly to different paintings and techniques over the course of the whole month. Now, when you hear the words basic techniques, you might think this is only for beginners and I already know what I'm doing. But even myself, as someone who paints all the time and does know a lot about watercolor, I still revert going back to the basics in my own practice to master them. Or even if I just don't know what to paint, I'll still use these techniques as adding a way to just put paint on paper. So while it may seem like this is more geared toward beginners, and this is geared toward the absolute beginners, people who have never picked up a paintbrush before, this is also great practice to give yourself the opportunity to be consistent with your artwork. I know a lot of people start to fall off the wagon after a while. They don't know how to get back into painting in watercolor, and this is going to be the perfect challenge to do so. So here on YouTube, I am going to be posting a new video, 10 minutes or less of watercolor practice, really fun techniques, super easy paintings that I believe anyone can follow along and do. So let's quickly just talk about supplies you're gonna need leading up to this watercolor challenge. I've picked basic supplies that I'm gonna be using that I do recommend for beginners if you have never bought watercolor before. Now, if you have your own supplies, obviously, use those, but I do have some suggestions. So for this challenge, I do suggest working in some sort of sketchbook. It's going to be a great way to keep all of your paintings and techniques together so you can refer back to them as well as working on them again, because we do some techniques like a wet on wet technique, and then the next day we're going to be doing wet on dry on what we did the day before. So having it in a handy sketchbook is a great idea. I suggested or recommended this one from Paul Rubens. You don't need anything big. Actually, I find smaller is better because we're only working 10 minutes of the day, maybe 5 minutes for some of them, and you want something that's going to be quick and easy, and I find working bigger can be a little bit more overwhelming. So this Paul Rubens sketchbook is perfect for this challenge. I have some smaller etcher ones too that I absolutely love, but use whatever you have. If you can, look for the words 100% cotton watercolor sketchbooks if you're looking to buy a new one on Amazon or at an art store. Those are going to give you the best results. I can also add some more suggestions or recommendations in the description below. As far as paint, I have given many suggestions for paint in the past. I started out with watercolor tubes, the Cotman student brand, and if that's what you have or you want to use watercolor tubes, I do recommend those. But if you have not bought watercolors before, a really good beginner set that is high quality and it does not break the bank, it is very affordable, are these Mei Liang palettes. So this one specifically, I believe is 36 colors. I'm not going to count it right now, but the quality is great and the price point is awesome. I will also list other paint recommendations in the comments below if you are interested. I do, however, tend to recommend a pan palette like this opposed to tubes if you've never started and you just want to jump into watercolor without all the fuss of learning how to use the tube watercolors. But again, it's up to you. For this specific monthly challenge, I'm going to be using these two supplies throughout the whole month. As far as watercolor brushes goes, you guys know, or most of you should know, that I have my own line with Craftimo. I have my signature set, which is my go-to for brushes for beginners, which is a size 12, size 6, and size 2 round, and then an oval wash brush. I love that for beginners, but if that is a bit more out of your price range, there are tons of other options. If you go to an art store, or even Michael's or something like that, you can find typical kind of round watercolor brushes brushes, maybe for a different price. These are the ones I started with, these Princeton Snap ones. I didn't find these at Michael's. You can get them on Amazon, dickblick.com, as well as most art stores. I find these are great for beginners. This is what I used, and it's fairly inexpensive. If you don't know, just go to the watercolor brush section, look for a round brush, which is the shape of this brush. It looks like a typical paintbrush shape. I would pick up maybe something like a size 12, which is a larger size, and then something smaller like a size 6 or a size 2, just to get you started. But again, if you don't have any of these supplies or you have limited access to any of these supplies, feel free to follow along with what you have. I just want to get you consistently painting and falling in love with watercolor for World Watercolor Month. So that's about it. That's the lowdown. Join me back here July 1st for our first technique watercolor practice challenge. I will list all the prompts on Instagram beforehand so you guys can see what we're doing. They're not necessarily prompts that you would take on yourself because I do have instructional videos for all of them. There are a few days that are highlighted that I'm going to be going live for, so they won't be pre-recorded, and we can chat during the lives on YouTube, and you'll also be able to watch the replays if you can't make it live. But yeah, that's about it. So I'm so excited about doing this. 31 videos for the month of July is going to be a little bit crazy. Oh, and July 22nd is my birthday. I'm turning 38. So join me for the live on that day, July 22nd, because I am going to be doing a giveaway of some brushes and my book, and we will see who the lucky winners are. All right, so that's it for today. I hope you guys can join me. Make sure if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. See you guys soon.